You've got skinny legs. Is that string hanging from his shorts? That guy's skipped leg day. Haha, look how thin his legs are. Who'd want legs like that?
Okay, I'll grow my legs. Welcome to the video. Now, as you probably guessed from the title and from the opening clip there, I've got a genetic defect. And that genetic defect is the fact that I have skinny legs. Now, I think that's actually for three reasons. One is genetics. I think my dad was a pigeon and therefore he's given me those legs. You can try and fight genetics as much as you want and you can train as hard as you want, but at the end of the day, genetics are always going to win. The second reason is that when I first started taking the gym seriously in my late teens, I was a typical lad and all I wanted was a big chest and arms, and really I neglected my legs, if I'm honest. So for the first 3 years of training, I didn't really do a lot on my legs. If I did, it was a token gesture, didn't really push it that hard, and I have to say I skipped leg day. I was that guy, I skipped leg day for sure. Another reason for me doing that is I played a lot of football, or as the Americans say, soccer, and therefore I also found it difficult to know when to train. I was doing football training during the week and I'd have a match at the weekend, and I didn't want my football to suffer as a result of tired or fatigued legs or sore legs from training them in the gym. So I tried to squeeze it in where I could, but my football was the priority for me, so I didn't really train my legs at all. Yeah. The third reason is that when I did eventually say, you know what, train your legs properly now and take it seriously, and I did start to make a little bit of progress, and then I went and snapped my leg completely in half, and that kind of made it difficult to do squats anyway, let's put it that way. So that leads us to this very day where I'm now going to focus my efforts on getting these skinny little pins into, if I don't want them to be big legs, I just want them to be normal sized legs. That is what the goal is so people don't go, what the hell? Look at those legs. They're actually going to go, he's got normal legs. That's the goal here. I don't want people to go, look at the size of those legs, because realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. So let's first have a look at what the training is going to look like. So first things first is that I realised that when I was training legs before, my volume of sets and reps was exactly the same on my legs as it was for my chest. And that just is mad. If you look at the size of your legs and the amount of muscles and all that sort of thing going on in your legs and the joints, they're going to require a hell of a lot more volume and a lot more intensity than my chest is, because that's just got my two pecs. But yet I was training them the same. So learning from my mistakes there, I realised that I need to be hitting them with a lot more sets, a lot more reps and a lot more intensity if I want to get results as compared to the other body parts such as, you know, shoulders, chest, the volume and things that I'm using on those. So the plan is an 8-week training plan. It's a fairly loose plan, I'll explain why in a minute, but I'm looking for 8 weeks. I don't have a particular measurement that I want to increase my legs by. I just want to see what I can achieve in 8 weeks by hitting them hard and really focusing on training my legs. So 8 weeks is the plan. I mean, the dream would be to put an inch on my legs, and as we all know, an inch is massive. It's not that big. Is it not that big? So I'm going to be training legs twice a week, and I'm going to break it down into 2 phases. I'm going to start off with the first 4 weeks where I'm going to do a strength building phase, and then in the latter 4 weeks I'm going to do a muscle building hypertrophy phase. Now the reason for me doing this is I want to build a nice strong foundation by doing my strength phase to start off with, so I can lift some good and serious weight going into the hypertrophy muscle building phase in the latter 4 weeks to hopefully then build more size and to put me in a better position going forward. So in the strength phase I'm going to be looking for a maximum of around 6 reps for 4 to 5 sets. And then in the hypertrophy muscle building phase, I'm going to be looking for a maximum of about 12 reps for 3 to 4 sets. So we should end up with very similar volume in both phases, but different intensity obviously. Each workout is going to consist of 2 compound exercises and 4 to 5 isolation exercises. And for those of you who don't know the difference, a compound exercise is your big heavy lifts where you're using more than one joint. So for example, a squat or a deadlift. And isolation exercises is where you're going to be using one joint and trying to focus on one muscle. So for example, leg extensions, concentrating on your quads, or hamstring curls, concentrating on your hamstrings. Now for those of you that know how to read a calendar, and depending on when you're watching this video actually, we are in the middle of lockdown because of the coronavirus. That therefore does make my strength phase a little bit difficult because equipment is quite scarce. But the other day we managed to get around 120 kilograms on the bar with all different kinds of, I don't want to say even equipment, things. Not the safest, but we did it. So I can do 120 kilograms, which for me is absolutely plenty. So let's see how we get on. But that's the plan, is I'm going to try and do strength phase with the equipment that I have during lockdown, and obviously if we come out anytime soon, I'll be straight back in the gym and then we shouldn't have a problem. So what is also important to note, possibly more important than the training, is my diet right now. I'm just coming out of a cutting phase and I'm putting myself into a bulking phase, but I'm only doing it as a 10% calorie surplus. So nothing too crazy, just 10% more calories than I need. My current weight is about, well actually I know exactly what it is. It's 85.5 kilograms. I weighed myself this morning and I am probably around 8 to 10% body fat. You can see from the pictures. The only supplements that I'm taking is cod liver oil tablets in the morning, whey isolate protein, and a dose of a positive attitude. So I'm going to show you some footage now of me training legs in my garage during this lockdown and the equipment that I have and can get my hands on. It may all change when the gym's open back up and I can get in there and do a normal session. But right now, obviously the most important thing is saving lives, so stay in and stay safe, and me getting bigger legs, you know, not really quite as important, is it? Right, so here we go. Here's going to be the embarrassing bit to show you how skinny my legs actually are. To show a starting point and to see the progress, I'm going to actually have to measure my legs, aren't I? So here we go. So to measure the quad, look at that skinny thing. Right, so measure the quad. Take your tape measure. Whee. Place it right up in your groin and measure down to your knee. So for me, that is 16 inches, I believe, yeah. So half of that is obviously going to be 8. So you take the halfway point here. So this is where I'm going to measure around my leg, from this point round here. So my starting point on my quad is 24 inches. 24 inches on my quad. Then I may as well measure my calf. Now calf's a little bit more tricky, so if I can show you, so when you tense your calf, you probably won't be able to see from there, but you'll see that there's like a little, it'll be like a little heart shape where your calf muscles will join. What you want to do is put your finger on that point at which they join in the like the indent of the heart. It will make sense when you tense your calf and you see it. So you want to tense that part, and that's where you want to put the tape measure around. So my calves, probably worse than my quads. So my calves are 12 inches. So there we go. On this date, whatever the date this video comes, in fact I know this is the 26th of April today, 2020. So I will, yeah, that's my starting point. So what was it, 24-inch quads and 12-inch calves. So hopefully we're going to be finishing this little story, this little journey, and I'm going to have 25-inch quads and 13-inch calves, I guess, but we'll see how we get on. So that is the starting point. As I said, the goal or the dream would be to put like an inch on my legs, but I'm not going to set any sort of target from that point of view. I just want to see what I'm able to do if I really put the hammer down and focus on my legs and see what I can achieve in this 8-week period. So I'm going to keep you up to date with everything as best that I can. So if you want to follow me on Instagram as well, try and keep you in the loop on there. So my Instagram handle will be in the description below. So one thing is for sure, if you struggle with legs like me, then this is going to be a great case study for you to follow along and to learn from. So jump on down and hit that big red subscribe button and hit that little bell icon next to it as well, so you can follow along on this story with me. So I just want to reiterate again that subscribing doesn't tie you into any costs or anything like that. All it does is show your appreciation for the channel and for what I'm doing. So don't panic if you push that button that you're going to be charged for anything, because it will not happen. So please just show your support, follow along this journey, and if you do that, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.